Go.
Ladies and gentlemen, European castaways and corrupted. I am Johnny, writer for Level 1 Gaming, and I am joined by BaronJ67. How are you doing tonight, Baron?
I'm a little anxious. What's up, guys? I'm BaronJ67. For those who don't know, I'm the communications director over here at Level 1 Gaming, and we're just glad that you're here, giving us a chance to entertain you. Much love. I see you, Flameser, showing up as usual, and I appreciate that, man. Much love to you. Um, but I'm a little anxious because tonight I actually get to take part in the war. There's a war going on in New World, and it's the only war that was able to take place in this server. We're in the server Magvel. Yeah, I got selected. I think the war is I think wars are 50-on-50, and whoever wins can take over. Who, if the person who owns the place, owns the region, loses, that's 100,000 in-game money just lost. So
Mm-hmm.
owning a settlement is a very, very intense thing that could easily be taken from you. But the cool thing is the game does give you a very, I want to say, well over like 15 hours to prep for the war.
This is
It's
true.
not, yeah, it's not like it's just you're all minding your business, you're at work, and then all of a sudden the enemy factions take a day off from work and raid your castle, and now your facilities are gone. No, it there's some order to it, and it's something I like that because I'm a dad, I work full time, and I'm doing stuff for level one, and it's like I would hate to invest in a facility or in a town or a province or whatever they're called, and then for me to lose the area because I was at work, like, and it was like another server or another group of people from a different time zone coming in and like taking over. That would suck.
That sure would. Now, for anybody that didn't uh, catch the brief here, we're talking about New World,
Oh
and
yeah, I
New
don't even think I
World is
mentioned
an
the game. Good job.
upcoming MMO RPG
Mm-hmm.
uh, being published by Amazon Games, uh, and it is set to release in a couple weeks, correct?
Yes, actually it is. It's supposed to be releasing. Oh, raise my mic a bit. Okay. I did move my mic, so I apologize if it's extremely low. I can speak louder. Let me know how that sounds. Actually, I think the easier thing to do. Give me a sec. I'm gonna tweak my audio. Hopefully, I'm not too loud. and the decibels are just right. How do I sound now? Mic check, mic check, 1 2 1 2, mic check. Do I still sound low, or because I can adjust? And go ahead, Johnny.
Yeah, of course. So, New World is currently in a open beta. It spanned this weekend, and it ends at about midnight Pacific time. So if you didn't catch it, unfortunately, it's a little too late now to get a good look into it. But, as we were saying, it does come out in just a couple weeks. But something that is a little, counter to the norm when it comes to MMOs is that this is a paid game. And thankfully, there's no subscription yet. So, Baron, what do you think about that as a model?
For me, it works perfect. I believe this MMO is I believe New World will be the MMO that will kind of offer people that space, like, hey, if you want, like, this is something to check out. Like, this is a great entry MMO. Now, of course, they got free ones out there. You know, you have RuneScape, you have, I believe Guild Wars 2 is free, if I'm not mistaken.
Star
It's
Wars:
been
The Old Republic.
Oh yeah, you have Star Wars: The Old Republic. There's a bunch out there that are free to play that I have played, you know. So, but there's something special about this one that even through the bugs and the few crashes that I have had, and the weird, like, the bugs that I've experienced have been more of a nuisance and not game breaking. Like, whether it's like notification boxes not leaving the screen, or the game saying I'm in a different area than what I actually am, but not very many moments that take me completely out of the game. Now, what you're seeing on screen right now is the market. Now, this is something that in any game, any MMO type game that I play, like Bless Unleashed, which I believe is another free to play, I usually dive into the market. I go in and I try to get into the economy. I try to farm and get my crafting levels up so that I can craft gear to sell. And then that's usually where I make most of my money. During the closed beta, which was a couple months ago, right? The closed beta?
Something like that.
Yeah, it was a
It's
couple
been a
months.
while.
Yeah, it feels like it's been a while since the closed beta. The closed beta, I made like 90% of my money from selling gear that I crafted and collected. Cornered the market in the town I started at and just ranked up my crafting, and I was just selling like crazy. So what you're seeing here is gameplay from Johnny, and the reason I'm pointing this out, not only because it's here on screen, but this is something that's really important to me. Now, a lot of these mechanics are available across the board. You know, a lot of games have these things. But New World just put it in such a way that it grabbed me. I gravitate towards it. I don't feel it doesn't feel too not convoluted. What's the word I'm looking for? Everything feels like it has a place. Only thing that seems very excessive is the long distance travel. Maybe, ooh, I wonder if that's how they're gonna work in like microtransactions, like buying Azoth or something.
Oh gosh, I can see it.
I
I
could see
can
it.
see that happen.
Yeah, that totally, like, that's one thing I haven't seen a like a clear place where this is gonna show up is the microtransaction aspect. Do all MMOs have heavy microtransactions?
Free to play ones do, which
Hmm.
is why I would be very upset if they did introduce them to this one, since it is a paid experience. Um,
Yeah.
they, it's like, we spoke about this the other night. Fallout 76, which is like a kind of MMO, sort of kinda, but they have Fallout First, which is paid features on top of a paid experience. You got to pay to buy the game, and that's just not right. Like I don't believe in that model. You shouldn't be having to charge twice for, I mean, an experience that really should just be free to play and then make your money off of subscriptions
I'm
like
gonna tell you.
everybody else. But
I'm gonna tell you. My main problem, and I feel like I'm a broken clock here because I'm always saying the same thing when it comes to microtransactions. Cosmetics, I don't care. If you want to look like if all of a sudden New World got the okay from Disney and all of a sudden people run around like stormtroopers, that's fine. Do what you got to do. I'm okay with that. But the moment that like this resource here, the Earth Crag or anything like where I can buy resources for a game that's not free to play, that's a problem. Like the one company, and we've brought them up before, or not the company, the one game, Warframe. Warframe does a really good job at microtransactions because like 99% of the objects in the game can be earned. Yes, they require you to spend a lot of time playing the game to earn them, but a lot of those things are there. Very very few things feel locked behind a paywall. And there's more than enough to earn in game to where you don't feel the absolute need. Now, do they promote and kind of push stuff towards you to spend real money like for microtransactions? Yes, they get a little excessive. You know, some people may not want to wait a full day, a literal 24 hours, real world 24 hours in order to access a weapon. But I will say that out of all the microtransactions on a free to play game, Warframe has felt the most natural and it's felt the most fair. Now, we bring up microtransactions because we have not seen any in New Worlds. Now, of course, we've only had the closed beta and the open beta, which is going on now. And Fame brings up a great point. New World needs a controller support. Um, I believe Fame mentioned that he's seen somewhere that it was they're supposed to have it and they don't have it. But for me, I wouldn't mind seeing controller support. I like using a controller. I'm getting better at mouse and keyboard, but controllers are just feels so much more natural to me. So if I can use a controller, I usually do. Um, but Johnny, what kind of microtransactions do you think we'll see in New Worlds at launch?
well, it depends on what route they want to take with the game. Either they can be like a 76 where it's just stacking as much, possible paid content as they can. And if they do that, then it could be pretty much anything. But if we stick to the paid one and done cosmetic route, then it wouldn't be nearly as bad. Um, I could see certain outfit like armor sets, whether that be like have like end game stats associated with them or not. That would also be a point of contention. But like outfits or whatever, like in a lot of these games, you can just put on an outfit that covers up your real armor.
True.
They could do armor cosmetics for that. Same things with weapons. They could, I mean, they could add like the ability to buy gold. I don't think that would be too game breaking, seeing as like the case in guilds needing 100,000 to purchase the region. I don't think any, but the uh, I don't think the big higher ups would at all complain if some guy wanting to run his guild paid like I don't know, like 250 bucks on gold. And does it really affect us, the players, all that much? Not really. It just gives the other guilds, and the other factions the opportunity to go and attack them. And maybe it could, like you said, be for naught, and they'd be a little upset with that. But I guess that's just part of the game.
I wonder because it's funny to some level buying gold would not be game breaking, right? Um, but when I think about the small stuff with it, like the ability to buy resources that are for sale on the market, the ability to like let's say you got a big streamer coming in and they just go and literally buy every area in the game off the rip and then it's up to everybody else to take. I could see it being semi problematic and causing some frustration. But the remedy would be the people. Like the moment, like let's say day one game starts where, because I know I'm most likely gonna like take the day off at launch if I have to work that day. I'm gonna take it off, just so I can struggle in the servers. But I wonder, would I don't know. I don't know if that one would be. I wonder if they would come up with like a special currency that you could do a lot with other than buy property
I
and buy
see, like an
towns.
equivalence.
Yeah, like I don't know, call it copper for all I care. You know what I mean? Like just to avoid that whole thing of you don't. I don't know. I could see that being because like I'm part of a guild, right? I'm already in the Discord. I'm already getting ready to go to war, like I said earlier. So knowing that we're getting ready to do all that and all that goes into it, if somebody could just throw some money at it to better prepare everybody, whether it's buying gold to then go on the market and buy potions, it would ruin the market economy.
It
Like
could.
I could imagine everything becoming way more expensive and excessive for the simple fact that now everything's going to be inflated because $5 to get you I don't know 10,000 gold or whatever. It'd actually probably be yeah, I was about to say this. It's funny. For a second I forgot that you were this is recorded. I was like, bro, just dash in. They're all crawling. Dash in and go and activate it. You'll have enough time. Like, um, that's what I want to yell right now. It's really funny. It's but outside of that, what I would want to see is cosmetics only for at least for a good while. Just give me like 3 months or so of cosmetics only, just to kind of let the game kind of balance itself out. I want to say, even though 76 isn't like the best example, I want to say that's kind of how they did. It was an initial, like an initial shop,
Yeah, I
or
believe they did have the Atom Shop day
the
one.
Atom shop. They did. You're right. You're right. I don't know. I
Although
just
I will just say I don't know the content of day one because I didn't pick it up until much later.
I think I picked it up day one and just never played it. Um,
Oh, I see.
yeah, I think I had it instant, but this one, I'm buying this game. I'm gonna run it like crazy. I'm probably gonna, neglect a lot of responsibilities over this one.
Mhm.
But I'm just worried about the microtransactions because this fun experience could be ruined real easily. Like it would not take much, at least
Something.
on a guild level. Because the point you brought up about people not affecting like the individual gamer, you're right. It would not. Um, I can't see it being that much of a problem for somebody who is just casually playing, not over here trying to take over the world. That type of stuff. I can see that being not so much of an issue. But if you're part of a guild and you're trying to make some stuff happen, make some moves, if all it costs is you got to you each guild has up to 100, or each company. I keep calling it a guild. It's a company. Each company
It's
has a
tomato
hundred
tomato.
people. Um, if you have 100 folks and everybody put in, $5, you can do a lot of damage on the market.
This is true. See, I'm glad that you're here and have this perspective because I'm not the player that enjoys guilds. I just find it too hierarchical. Like the
Mm-hmm.
people at the top tend to go on power trips about it, and it just diminishes my experience. Especially when they are like, you have to be on this like weekly raid with us, and it's just like, oh God, no. But it does bring with you being, in a guild at the moment. It gives us the perspective of, you know, uh, sizable chunk of the player base. Especially since you've been with these guys for a while now, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so, you know, uh, with that much investment already and the game isn't even out, if something happens with guild play, or the way the guild experience is, it could do some damage, and a lot of people would be upset, which is something I hope we can avoid.
You know what? This is what I'll say about what's I like about the group that I'm running with. Everybody seems to be an adult. Everybody's 21 and older. Everybody, you can hear people, they got their significant others in the background. You hear people, oh, I got to go do something with the kid. Me, you got, like, you probably heard my kids earlier running around. So everybody has some like real world responsibilities. No offense to the people, whether you're single or whether you just under 18 or you living with family or you like with less responsibilities than those with like kids and whatnot. But it makes it a lot easier when a majority of folks in your group, and they're not only just majority, but the people who are quote unquote the higher ups, by them having just similar responsibilities to me, I don't feel the need to be super sweaty. And that's the cool thing. Now, what that means for me is I'll probably be playing this game more than I play other ones. So it may seem like I'm being sweaty. It's just no. Now all my gaming time is gonna be in one place. Um now, but things can easily go bad. I mean, we're dealing with people here. Like people, it just and it sucks. And this is why I'm hoping that there's no heavy microtransaction push, because that would, I think, add a whole new element to the situation. Because I'd feel bad because there's always going to be somebody who wants to chip in. And I could imagine, like, well, I put in this much and we did this because of that. So I say I can see the power trip coming in on that angle, because money does make things funny. Now, what do you think of New World overall? Like, out of all the MMOs you've played, because I believe you played quite a few. What?
Yeah.
How do you feel about this one and its potential? From like, I don't like to compare new MMOs to other MMOs because this game could look completely different in 6 months. But at the same time, it is a game competing in that market. So what do you think?
Well, as of the closed beta, and of course at full release, my opinion would hopefully change. Is
Got you.
at the moment I would give it 3 out of 5 stars.
Okay.
Um, I have a lot of problems with it. Some, I've, we've been playing pretty much all weekend, so you
Yeah.
know quite well what the list of complaints are. But
Well, break it
um,
down, just to give the folks a few of them, because I know, but they don't know.
yeah, so quests bugging out. I have like 2, 3 quests that I'm just not able to complete because the game doesn't want to give me like the progress tick to complete it. I've had the game crash a couple times, and I know uh, Floor Hugger, she's also tried out and also had the game crash, even more than me, which
Yeah,
is
like bad.
not really cool. Yeah. But apart from those, there's sound bugs, like sound effects will play over and over again without end. There will be like text just, you know, being in the wrong spot. Like if you look at the footage, you know, breach of the corrupted hive, that would be all the way down in the bottom right. Um, there's just a lot of problems, and you know, once the game is out, you know, I'm sure it'll earn, 1 or 2 more stars from me. But I can only give my opinion as it is now, so that's how I justify it. But in comparison to other MMOs, it feels a little generic.
Okay.
Uh, but I think that's just a problem with a lot of MMOs. But I think that has more to do with it being its brand new IP with no connection to anything else. Like, what is it? Was it Dragon Age? Was
Mm-hmm.
that the? Yeah, it had. Uh, I believe it had something predating that, and then you have WoW, which is
Oh wait,
a
talking. Oh, you're
continuation of
talking about.
Warcraft.
Are you talking about Bless Unleashed?
No, Dragon Age. There's a
Dragon
one
Age
and a
has an
two, isn't
MMO?
there? Doesn't they? I
No, I
believe.
don't think
Oh no,
Dragon Age. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
no, I apologize. I'm thinking of Guild Wars, not Dragon Age.
Yes,
Guild Wars. They have their own little thing. And then of course World of Warcraft. They built off of all of the Warcraft franchise, which is I think they have like three games predating that. And then of
oh
course
yeah, they had Warcraft, Warcraft 2, 3. Yeah,
mhm. So- and then of course the two that I would say I've played the most of, ESO and Star Wars: The Old Republic. Of
hmm,
course, being tied to the Elder Scrolls and Star Wars respectively, so they have a whole universe to, kind of chain themselves to. So with New World and Blessed Unleashed, which I didn't, it was fun, just like I'm having about the same amount of fun with New World here, but I just don't find myself getting too attached to the world at all.
got
Like
you.
I'm skipping all of the text quest. I'm not listening to any of the voice acting. I'm just going to point A, killing everything, returning, and that's about it. So maybe they can bump up the writing um, to get me more involved. But something that's a problem with me as well. The mobs are just too repetitive. It's like they only have like 10 models in the game.
Mm,
That's what it feels like to me. Like it's either the corrupted dudes, the corrupted pirates, um, corrupted farmer slash miner, and then the wildlife, and that's the game.
mm,
But like other games, they do pretty good job with keeping it unique, whether it be in certain areas or everything being kind of different. Um, so that's my take. Now, like I said, uh, I will definitely be trying it out on release, and I'll give it a good solid go. And I hope and pray that they fix some stuff, but I don't know how much they can change in 2 weeks.
right. Um. Okay. That, and you know what? Those are all very fair and real points in a lot of stuff that I experienced, like the audio issues, the mission tracking, missions being able to be accomplished, and I've experienced it more in the closed beta than in the open. The major issues I experienced in the open beta, the one that we're doing now, is the audio and the actual there's this weird glitch, but it actually works to my benefit. But there's a weird glitch where I've become over encumbered and then my character starts glitching, and I can move super fast. It almost turned into like I'm started floating, and I'm like, as you can see on screen right now, you see Johnny's character running. My glitched out character with the encumbrance, who's over encumbered, is moving faster than him sprinting. Um, Now a lot of the complaints that I've heard are like, I don't think Johnny mentioned it right now, but the distance in between missions.
Hmm.
Um, it's problematic, not so much for me because I have a bad habit of farming and crafting or farming along the way. That's always something that I end up doing in a lot of different games that I play, especially if fast travel is a cost like it is on this game. Now, I like the combat on this game. I like the combat. I like the way it it engages. I don't know what it is about it, but it just grabs me. It's not nothing. It's not like as if it's like some world, some new experience, some off the charts. Like, oh my god, I can't believe. Like, I don't know how to properly describe it. I just know I'm having fun with it, and it's it's funny because it almost feels like a cheap cop out. Like, well, bro, it's fun. Like, but it truly is for me. I'm having a good time with it, and I heard somebody in part of the guild the company that I'm a part of, they mentioned that the crafting and the harvesting feels very similar to RuneScape. Now, RuneScape was one of those games back in the day that I played for hours on end and didn't really progress very far in the story, but I could mine almost what was it, like mithril or something. Like I could mine super high level stuff because I would seriously just sit there and for hours I would have a whole session where I'm just going around and mining ore or cutting down trees or learning to cook or getting my cooking skills up. The skill system and the harvesting system really remind me of like just good times in RPGs that I've played and MMOs in the past, such as RuneScape. What if the game was to launch as it is right now, I don't think I would have too much of a complaint. Only because, and it's funny, like I feel like certain games get a weird pass because it's an MMO. Like, do you? I don't care how successful your stress test is. You really don't know what's about to happen with a online only massive multiplayer game until you fully launch it. Does that give it a pass for it to be crap at launch? No, but you kind of got to give them. It's always going to have major issues in my opinion at launch. Like I said, I'm probably going to most likely going to take the day off when it launches if it's during a weekday. But in saying that, does that mean like there's a high chance that I'm probably not even gonna be able to get in because there's usually server issues with all online games on the day they launch, right, Johnny?
Mhm. In saying that, that reminds me of something critical. Do you think there's going to be a day one patch?
Mm, I I would I would hope so because the audio issues alone, audio, the missions, the ability to the server problems in terms of like people trying to play on different coasts and whatnot. Like they got to stabilize it a little bit more. I don't know if that's like I'm not too technical when it comes to like ping and whatnot, but I know you're on the East Coast, but you're pinging a lot harder, like almost ridiculous, right?
Oh yeah, I don't know if I caught any juicy examples in this footage here, but I know in the past I'll just teleport to like the opposite side of where I'm fighting, and it just like, wow, okay. So the ping is a little bad.
And I know that's something that they'd be able to patch and fix over time. But I wouldn't doubt it at all if there's a major day one patch. Because the beta ends tonight at midnight Pacific Standard. And what's funny is the war starts at 10:30 Pacific Standard this evening. And I'm like, okay, I wonder if like as soon as the war, I don't know how long the war is gonna be, depending on how fast the attacking party goes. Because I believe we're defending. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
defending because we run Everfall and we're being invaded. So I wonder how that's gonna go. Like, is it gonna be a long drawn out fight? And it really takes like an hour or so, if not more, in order to finish. I didn't look into the mechanics of the war, but I'm excited to see how it plays out because now I would officially be able to say that I've partaken in a lot of the aspects of the game. Now, I want to say there's some in-game content that I haven't been able to take part in at all because I've never reached past level 50. I think the level cap is like 60 right now. I don't know for sure, but something tells me I want to say it's 60. But they like there's this stuff called corruption, which this island I didn't pay attention much to the story at all because I really didn't want to ruin it for myself, and because all of this is like timed and it's for a short window. I was like, let me just get in here and see if I enjoy the mechanics of the game. Because if I can enjoy the mechanics of the game, I can learn to love the story, or at least learn to
Something,
tolerate it.
yeah. Something I just like to quickly point out is the bits of design that I've picked up on are very uninspired, almost ripped from other games or franchises, which I
Mm.
disapprove of strongly.
Go ahead and explain.
So as you saw earlier in my 1v10 combats with the corrupted there, they're coming from portals from another dimension. Now, which title comes to mind when you have to fight back creatures coming from a portal from another dimension? I jumped straight to the Elder Scrolls Oblivion.
True.
It's literally the entire premise of the game.
Yeah. It even starts that way.
Exactly. So just like I guess it's like a soft reboot of Elder Scrolls Oblivion, but just a lot of these other elements, I'd have to go back and experience them firsthand. That's like the most heinous example that comes to mind, but there's just these little not inconsistencies, but there's these little just pieces here and there that just makes you think like this is the best you can come up with.
I I'll say this when it comes to games that are in a genre that's been done over and over and over. I'm all for innovation, but at the same time, don't ignore things that are done well. Like I like the crafting system. I like the depth of it. I like that there's different layers of items you can use in order to increase the the quality of the item. So I can make a basic iron staff, but I can use a higher quality of wood. I can use a higher quality of leather. I can use a higher quality stone to increase the basic iron staff. Then I can upgrade that, go from iron staff to a steel staff, and then I can add a higher grade of everything else. So now there's tiers within tiers within tiers in terms of the crafting. So I'm glad, of course, there's been plenty of games to do that beforehand, and I'm glad they ripped that system and they brought it in here. What's one thing that the one positive, like one big positive through all of this that I've seen for sure, that made me happy and kind of nervous at the same time, is they addressed complaints. Like I know one of the big complaints, I guess, were people cheesing the whole campfire system, like you just seen Johnny's character walk past. So what would happen in the closed beta, and I'm guessing the previous stress test and whatnot beforehand, is you people would use those campfires as a forward, as what would you call it, a forward base?
Like a respawn point.
Yeah, a respawn point, a forward base, and people would place it and strategically use it, but it was in a system that got abused because there was no distance limit on it. So what you could do is to save yourself money, or Azoth, which is the resource needed to fast travel, which is also the resource needed in order to add special abilities to your items that you're crafting, and a bunch of other different little mechanics. Now, what people would do is go near a area that they wanted to farm in and place their campfire there, and then they would go and set a recall station or set their home base, air quotes, into the area in which they're going to be crafting at. And so people would just die, because that's one thing I also like about this game is when you die, you don't lose all your items in progress from that time frame since the last time you checked in somewhere. It's a thing of where you just get damage to all your gear. Like everything takes a, I don't know, I don't think they quantify, like I don't think it's a specific number. I don't know how it works. I don't know if like whatever's in your hand gets more damage versus what's in your inventory, but everything gets damaged. Now, people were cheesing it in a way where they were just like, well, just die, and then you'll quickly travel back to your base, and then you can travel to your camp, and blah, 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 and just really milking the system. And then they adjusted it to where now you can only be 500 meters away. The max distance from your campfire is 500 meters. Now, what's wild is, now that I think about it, the game is kind of cold because some missions will be like 1,000, like a kilometer away from you.
Yeah, they do have a problem with distance.
They love to send you all over. the developer's creation. Um, but it's I don't know, man. I've easily got what over 100 hours overall in combined closed and open beta.
Maybe so.
And I don't think I've gotten close to maxing out any aspect, whether it's level, whether it's harvesting, lumbering, craft, different forms of crafting. There's literally tailoring. There's arcana, which is like making magic potions and staffs and or staves. I don't know. Use the other one. Magical gloves, and then you have armors, you got weaponsmithing, you have stone cutting, jewelry making. It's got all the mechanics of like it's pretty expansive in terms of all the different things you can create.
Yeah,
Um
like I'll just point out that crafting is more or less optional. Like it's
yes.
not have yeah, it's not like a core component of the game. Like Baron Craft God, you know. I, on the other hand, I do like soft crafting. Like I don't do any of my own armor pieces or own weapons. The only thing I've crafted consistently are bullets for my musket. But
Yeah.
and like another small nitpick is that I don't like the fact that ranged weapons have ammunition in this. I can't name another MMO that does that, but I mean I guess it's something that keeps it apart.
I,
Um,
I will say it was frustrating when it didn't work in my favor. Um but I don't know, I kind of liked it because there's different tiers of bullets. Like I know people in the first war I ever watched on live stream, people were like building like I want to say it was like star metal bullets and steel bullets, and they were really out there just getting ready to issue some pain. Like I know as soon as we end this show, I'm gonna take another break and just kick back with the family a bit, and then the rest of the time is gonna spend harvesting materials, getting ready for the war, whether it's gathering stuff for potions. Like I know for myself, I'll be like farming potions and materials to craft it. But I don't know. It's an interesting stressor to say the least. Like it adds
well,
a stressful element to it.
see, it's a little inconsistent though, because why isn't magic uh have ammunition?
It
It's
does. It's
just
mana.
ranged weapon.
No, it's mana.
The mana?
Yeah, there's mana. Like
Well, that's like
and
a
then
mana pool. It's not like you only have
no.
X many shots.
Well, see, that's the fun. Okay. So when it comes to the magic, so you got to worry about your item degrading over time with usage. Then you have to worry about your mana pool. And depending on like life staff users, it's kind of cheesing. They have their light attacks and heavy attacks don't cost mana. If you buy the ability, there's an ability where it gives it to where it's no charge to your mana. But any other weapon, magical weapon, it costs every time you tap the button. It's almost it like I have the magical ice gloves. Every time I cast, that costs mana, and I'll hit a point where I'll run out of mana. Now I got to switch to a melee. So in a sense, there's no ammo to craft, but you will need to have potions craft in order to continuously use that ability or have some type of good recharge, like some type of recharge item on you.
Yeah, and knowing how min-maxing works in these kind of games,
Oh, somebody's gonna figure it
you know,
out.
they're gonna have like the perfect magic build, like armor set, and they're gonna
Mm-hmm.
have like 100, mana potions, and coupled with the fact that you have that perk that just doesn't let you chart like cost mana. Uh, I can see it being stupidly strong to
Oh
the point
yeah.
where potentially, bows and muskets inferior question mark.
Or they become so OP because I know during the last war, that's what most people were using was bows and muskets, and like people were doing like crazy drill shots and all type of wildness. One thing I can see though, like the first major nerf in the game would be the life staff users. I see them getting some type of nerf eventually in the future. Maybe even at launch, because I've seen a lot more life staff users this playthrough than I did the last time. Um, I because the common complaint, and it's funny, the guy who runs the company that I'm a part of, shout out to Foxy. His number one complaint, he's like, no, they need to nerf the life staff users because how is it that you can heal yourself, heal others, tank, and do DPS in one character? Like
Yeah, that's a little broken.
you can. I've watched people solo like magical bears, which are like high level, high end game characters. Like you could totally tank. I've fought and won fights that I shouldn't have won. I've been able to hold my own. Like how is it that I'm doing mad damage and aggroing while also doing party heals and while also buffing? It's like a paladin. It's like a paladin on steroids.
Yeah, I can definitely see that kind of comparison. Or like a cleric.
Yeah, like dude, a cleric who is like high DPS and like only thing that can make the life staff user more OP is some type of resurrection ability.
Oh no.
If they had some type of res ability, that would make them. You would just see everybody in the game running around with a life staff.
Not even that. Just like give them like a self res. That would just be
Oof.
stupid.
Oh, that would totally break the character. But I will say that it is fun to run as a life staff user. So the build that I'm gonna be going for once the game launches is a life staff and a spear. The spear I've been having way too much fun with because you can legit like launch it. You can yeet it. It's an ability, and if you get and there's a perk where you once you activate it, if you get a headshot, it lowers the cooldown of the spear throw and it knocks them over. So whenever I'll be casting spells as my heal with my life staff, and then whenever a wide group of people, like if I get rushed, if I aggro too many people, I'll switch to my spear. I'll chuck it, hit somebody over the head with it, and then I got a leg sweep ability, and I've stunned bosses with it. And I'll legit like leg sweep and knock everybody down, and then roll out of the area, and then switch back to my staff and start casting again. Um, it's a pretty good combo. Like they fit very well together, or maybe I'm just decent at it. I haven't tried it in PvP, but we'll see how it's gonna go tonight, and maybe we can do a follow up next week. Wow, we really sat here and talked. It's almost been an hour. That's crazy. Um, um, since we're getting down to the last 10 minutes, what do you think? Um, what do you think they could do to improve upon this game from this point forward?
Yes. So the thing, they had a little survey that they are putting out, and the thing I stated as needing to be put into the game immediately is level scaling.
Hmm.
I don't like um having leveled areas is kind of dated. Like I know ESO has moved away from that. If I'm not mistaken, Star Wars: The Old Republic, I think, did away with that, but it's been a little while, so I can't, maybe I'm misremembering that, but um, I know that is a common thing. And for someone like me that likes to explore the world, that they hardcore just shut that down. I
Hmm.
can't step foot into the level 24 or the 26 areas, without just getting one shot by anything that even looks at me. And paired with their crazy aggro ranges, oh my gosh. Like a sniper, not sniper, an archer. He can just be like, you know, he can be sitting on his front porch. You could be stepping outside your door across the street, and he'll just one shot you before you even step foot outside your door. and that's just the end of it. You can't do anything about it. So level scaling is something that needs to be implemented ASAP.
Mm. I wonder. Um, One thing I will say that if they got rid of the level scaling, the one big positive to that, or let me rephrase, they would have to figure out a way, because now another issue, they would have to offset it, because from what I've seen with the level scaling, there's certain items that are locked behind certain monsters and certain mobs, certain places, certain plants and whatnot, right?
Hmm.
In certain areas. Like I know there's an area where you can farm Fey Iron off of a certain creature. Now, would all of a sudden the it be a rarity system? Like, hey, you're super low level just because you're over here, and now this earthen magic bear or whatever is now fighting you. It's going to be to your ratio, like it's still going to be stronger than you, but now you just won't have a good enough chance to loot. That, like, I wonder how they would address that. But then the one positive to it is you wouldn't have the areas wouldn't be so packed out because everybody would venture out. Like, of course, you would have your places that are like fan favorites and everybody and their mom wants to be there. But
Hmm.
I think it would turn into a thing where it would feel less congested in certain areas. Because I know in my playthroughs, Windsward always feels congested. Now, I think, and Windsward is almost like in the middle of the map. It's one of the four starter areas. I believe there's
Yeah.
four randomized starter areas. Like I know for me, I ended up in Windsward each time, but I often moved away fairly quickly and went and set up shop somewhere else, and then would bounce back and forth between Windsward. But Windsward, it always just felt always just super packed in comparison to like First Light, which is in the southern part of the map, or
Everfall to the north.
Everfall, or even Monarch's Bluff, which is on the western front. Like it just it always feels, it feels more packed, and I think it's because of how central it is. Um,
Yeah. Something I would just like to add though, in relations to your concerns about how the loot would scale. The way ESO does it, and I keep going back to ESO, is because it's the one MMO that I am aware of that consistently, or I should say, correctly implemented it, at least in my view. The way that stuff scales is if you get yourself an item, I don't know, like a rare ice staff or something. The way the way they do it is the level you are at the time when you defeat him. That's the stats of the weapon that you get. So, if you're level 17, you'll get a level 17 staff. But when it comes to materials, because I know they're kind of scattered around in a fairly level-based system as well.
okay,
Uh, I think actually they have a better system in here at the moment than in ESO, but because everything is everywhere. But in
yes.
ESO, the the way they do like mining, for instance, is you can only mine the current tier you can craft with.
Oh, so the ore is the ore, but depending on what you're looking for or what you're leveled to is what you'll get.
Yeah, so you can like every node you'd find would be like iron, which may suck if you're trying to work with steel or something. But the moment you level up to the point where you can earn steel, all of the nodes on the map suddenly convert to the next tier up, and then late game, everywhere you look would be star metal.
Mm. See, yeah, I like this system better in when it comes to the resources. Now, my worry would be drops, right? Like, okay, because you got rare drops. I don't know. I just would hate to. I would. I like the grind when it comes to crafting. Like that's something. It gives me something to look forward to. Like, you know me, even when it comes to like shooters, if a game doesn't have a bunch of guns for me to unlock, I'm not enjoying it as much. That's why I like Battlefield 4 more than Battlefield 5. That's why I like you know what I mean? Like, there's just more guns. That's why I'm happy we're going to modern times in Battlefield and stepping away from um, World War II. It's just more guns, more options, more adjustments, more like, I like that aspect of it.
Yeah,
I like that for something to constantly reach for. Warframe, something constantly to reach for. I like that feel, because then nothing ever truly feels old, because there's always something to get. And then that whole being bored and taking forever, or feeling like there's nothing more to do, that feeling takes is going to be further away. It's going to be a while before we get there. You know what I mean?
but
That's
which
my
is
thought.
why.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'll let you finish that, and then I'll say like,
No, I was just gonna say that's why I really enjoy my time. I've been enjoying my time here. But keep going.
oh, what I was gonna say is, that sounds like a open invitation to play good old PlanetSide 2, which is Battlefield but MMO, and
Yeah.
the weapon variety and choice of ways to spend your money in terms of upgrading existing weapons or buying new ones or
Yep.
unlocking access to different vehicles.
And there's a
Very
reason I haven't
solid game.
uninstalled it. Like, it's still installed. Like, I believe me, you know, it's just a lot of other games to play. But no, but that type of stuff is what I like. I mean, hell, I'm playing a blacksmith game on what is that bad boy called? I'm playing a blacksmith game on the Switch. It's called like Blacksmith the Same Kingdom or something, and it's literally just dungeon crawling and crafting and running a store. Like, that's the whole game. It's like Moonlighter but more JRPG.
Yeah,
Um
I can tell what that is. Yeah.
yeah. Um Kamikaze controller and go get a console pad. Hey, you know what, man? When it comes to the controls, like, I can do mouse and keyboard, but I just, controller's always just easier in my opinion. Um but that's funny. Uh that honestly, do
So
you have anything else to add? Because let me see.
I do.
Go ahead.
I think I think we can wrap up with talking about the factions.
Ah, got you.
And so in New World, you got three factions. You got the Syndicate, the Covenant, and the Marauders.
Yes.
The Marauders are the, might makes right kind of group.
Yep.
They value strength, they value honor, kind of like Spartans, but with a different time period. The Covenant are the uh they're like the if you ever watched Game of Thrones, they're basically the faith militant.
Yep.
And then what is the Syndicate, Baron?
Basically like spies.
That's the vibe you got. I was seeing more of just kind of like the Brotherhood of Steel, but not hoarding technology, but just like that holier than thou technocrat kind of vibe going.
Like, here's the definition of the syndicate: working in the shadows and dealing with secrets. Members of the syndicate use their boundless guile and intellect in pursuit of forbidden knowledge.
Hmm. Well, that did not translate to the game, but
um, I'll I'll
yeah.
I'll end it with this, right? My final say is covenants are like religious fanatics. Yeah, for real. They really are, bro. Like, they got dudes with the monk haircuts just sitting there, Illuminati faction, right? And then you got the battle hardened folks over there with the Marauders. My final thoughts is, don't delay the game again. Go ahead and launch. I believe it's supposed to launch on the 26th. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Let me see. When is it supposed to drop?
While Shear's looking that up, I would just say um, I wouldn't be surprised if there was another delay because, see, my experience with the constant bugs and annoyances, and you know, in cases of like Hugger, where all those crashes, are
Mhm.
they really gonna fix all of that and the quests and all the stuff that maybe we didn't run into in 2 weeks?
No. And I'm gonna tell you this. I believe another delay for this MMO. If it was a single player experience, I would say go ahead and, keep it going. Delay, do what you got to do. But this is a MMO that there's going to be bugs that there's no major bugs that they're not going to be able to find until you run it hot. Like there's going to be hot fixes. I mean, hell, Destiny gets hot fixes. I forgot what they call it. Um, please let me know in the chat if you guys know. But I'm a firm believer that this game is reaching that point where they need to go ahead and launch it. Now, if they want to do some type of free launch, you know me, I'm always down for lowering the price of stuff.
Mhm.
But I think they need to. The game needs work, guys. Better to wait than have an unfinished, broken product. But what MMO launched perfect? Name me one.
I mean, yeah, you are correct in that there's always problems,
And
but
major problems. Not even like let's not glaze over that. The word problem. We're talking about like servers not working. There's games that didn't even start feeling correct until like almost a year in. Like I know for me, Destiny 1, and I consider that an MMO in a weird way. That game didn't feel right to me until The Taken King, which I believe was almost a year in. Now, what if they would have just waited until then? Would the game even have made it?
I'm not too sure. I didn't really get into Destiny,
But
but
that's just the most active example that I know of, and I could keep up with. And I was closed beta for Destiny. Like I still got the old school poster that was hidden in Halo at my
oh yeah,
at
I
my
remember that.
yeah. Like I was day one Destiny because they promised a space opera, um, a shooting adventure space opera, and a
Did they
lot of the
deliver?
characters no. The game was very hollow, was very empty for a very long time. And a lot of the characters that were in the initial launch trailers didn't show up until like 3 years ago or 2 years ago, which
Boy, oh
would
boy.
be a 2 years after launch. So my point is, some games, like as the game is now, the safest thing in my opinion for what's going on here is lower the price for the initial people buying in, do some type of, I don't know, early, you can call it early access. Plenty of games do that. I mean, hell, what's that game that every Baldur's Gate 3 is currently doing early access? It's full priced early access. Do I recommend that? No, but it's early access. So do our early access, lower the price, lower the buy-in, and stress test it that way. That's my opinion on it, because otherwise I really believe another delay will dramatically hurt this game in terms of people even caring about it. But then again, people like new, like people, so it's not like it's not gonna sell. But I think another delay for this one would hurt it. In my opinion, would rather them stress test it along the way.
Hmm. Well, I take the opinion that just because everybody else isn't turning in their homework on time, you shouldn't get a pass. Like if the game isn't done, it's not done. To me, it feels like it's 90% of the way there. But if it were to launch as like this, I would not be too pleased, and I feel like I would be almost robbed of
Mm,
some of my money.
gotcha.
Um, so I'm not hoping that they delay it, but I'm hoping that they, fix what they need to fix and have it launch with as minimal problems as we should say, not with no problems, because that's kind of unavoidable in this day and age. But
Right.
um, they have a lot of work to do in these next couple of weeks, and uh, I don't have my expectations super high. I just want a game with polish. I mean, it's Amazon, for crying out loud. They have the resources.
True, but we do know that throwing money at a game doesn't fix everything. Because look at a lot of EA titles. Look at we can go down the list, but what you're saying is fair. I got no major argument against that. Because I mean, I've said that in plenty of other circumstances, like delay the game. Um, oh, maybe I think a large part of it is my anticipation for this title. That plays a huge part into it. Like I'm not gonna sit here and act like it doesn't. But we'll see what's gonna happen. Folks, we're wrapping up. Make sure to like, subscribe. Tell us if you're gonna play New Worlds Kamikaze. I see you. Are you getting ready? Are you already in the beta? Are you in the war? If so, I'll see you on the battlefield. What server you're in. Let me know. Put in the comments like what do you guys think New World should do? Should they delay? Should they not? And just to give you a rundown of what we do. We have Mondays, we have 15 minutes of fame. Tuesdays, we have Ready Play Movies. Wednesdays, we have our flagship show, Double XP. Thursdays is Take Two podcast. And then Fridays is Peep Game. Then you have Saturdays, Ready Press Play. And then Sundays, once again, is back with us, StarCrossed Gamers. So we got 7 days of shows for you, plenty of content to look at, and then we got videos and articles popping up on level1gaming.com. Make sure to get all your news from there. And you know what? I say peace.
Take care, everybody.